The scent of desperation is a tangible thing in the great hall. It smells of stale sweat, unwashed wool, and the cloying sweetness of cheap perfume used to mask the fear. My own scent is probably the worst of all. The thin, unremarkable fragrance of chamomile and rain, laced with the bitter tang of anxiety. I am Ilara, and I am wolfless. In a world defined by the power of our inner beasts, I am a void, an absence. That is why I stand on this gilded auction block, a piece of property to be sold to the highest bidder in the annual mating auction. It is a fate reserved for the lowest of the low, the packless, the omegas without prospects, and the wolfless like me. I keep my eyes fixed on the marble floor, its polished surface reflecting the glittering chandeliers 1,000 times over. I do not want to see the faces of the alphas and betas in the crowd, their gazes dissecting me, calculating my worth as a broodmare or a servant. My own alpha, from the crumbling Stonecrest pack, sold me to the auction masters for a pittance to settle a debt. He had called me a useless mouth to feed. His words echo in my ears, a constant reminder of my worthlessness. My wolf should have manifested on my 16th birthday. It never came. Now, at 19, I am an outcast, a flaw in the fabric of our society. My only value is in the potential fertility of my human half. The auctioneer's voice drones on, listing my meager attributes. Healthy, 19 years of age. Compliant, he says, his tone bored. There is no mention of a wolf, because there is nothing to mention. A ripple of disinterest flows through the hall. The bids are insultingly low, barely enough to cover the auction's fees. I am a bargain basement mate, and everyone knows it. Humiliation burns hot in my stomach, a familiar, acidic bile. I clench my fists, my short nails digging into my palms. The small pain is a welcome distraction, an anchor in a sea of shame. I will not cry. I will not give them the satisfaction. Suddenly, the air in the hall changes. The low hum of conversation ceases. A palpable wave of power washes over the room, so immense it feels like a physical weight pressing down on my shoulders, stealing the breath from my lungs. A new scent cuts through the stale air, sharp and intoxicating. It smells of ancient pine forests after a storm, of crisp winter air, and the electric charge of ozone. It is the scent of absolute authority, of royalty. I dare to lift my head, my gaze drawn against my will toward the source. He stands in the grand archway, flanked by two of his royal guard. King Kalen, the alpha of all alphas, ruler of the United Packs. His presence is overwhelming, a force of nature contained in a mortal form. He is more formidable than the legends describe, with hair as black as a moonless night and eyes the color of molten silver. His gaze sweeps the room with an air of command, dismissing everyone until it lands on me, and stops. For a heartbeat, the world falls away. The noise, the crowd, the shame, it all vanishes. There's only the scent of pine and winter and the impossible, undeniable pull that snaps into place between us. It is a cord of shimmering gold, yanking me toward him with a force that makes me stumble. Mate. The word is not a thought. It is a primal recognition that explodes in the deepest, most dormant part of my soul. A place I thought was empty, a place where my wolf should have been, suddenly ignites with a blinding, ecstatic light. Hope, so fierce and unexpected it feels like agony, rips through me. The fates have not abandoned me. They have given me the Alpha King. His silver eyes widen, a flicker of shock crossing his sculpted features. I see it. I feel it through the nascent bond. He feels it too, the scent of his arousal, a dark, musky undertone to the pine, reaches me across the hall, and my body flushes with heat. He takes a step forward, his attention locked entirely on me. The auctioneer, flustered by the king's arrival, stammers, "Your Majesty, an unexpected honor." King Kalen ignores him. His voice, when he speaks, is a low, rumbling growl that vibrates through the floorboards and up my spine. "Her. I will have her." There is no negotiation, no counteroffer. His word is law. The auctioneer fumbles with his gavel. "Sold! To the Alpha King!" Relief makes me dizzy. The golden cord of the bond pulses with warmth, with triumph. My spirit, so long crushed and broken, soars. The king, my mate, has found me. He will take me away from this place, from this life of shame. He will claim me, and the world will see that I am not worthless. I am the mate of the king. As his guards move to escort me from the block, my eyes meet his. The shock in his gaze is gone, replaced by something else. A complex mask of calculation, of disappointment. A cold knot of dread begins to form in my gut, chilling the warmth of the bond. I am taken to a private chamber, a luxurious cage of velvet and silk. I wait, my heart hammering against my ribs, a frantic bird beating its wings. The bond hums with his proximity. He is coming. When the door finally opens, he fills the frame, his power a suffocating presence in the small room. He closes the door behind him, and the scent of him is all-encompassing. The bond sings, a desperate, joyful melody. Mine, claim, protect. The instincts are so powerful they overwhelm my human senses. I want to press my face to his chest, to breathe him in, to have him mark me as his. But his expression is a slab of granite. His silver eyes are cold, holding none of the recognition I feel tearing through me. "You are Wolfless," he states. It is not a question. It is an accusation. The hope that had bloomed in my chest withers and dies. Yes, Your Majesty." A muscle jumps in his jaw. The scent of his displeasure is sharp like burnt pine needles. It stings my nose. "The fates have a cruel sense of humor," he says, his voice laced with a bitterness that chills me to the bone. "To grant me a mate, the one who should be my queen, and make her this." He gestures vaguely at me, a gesture of complete dismissal. Each word is a physical blow, shattering the fragile hope I had dared to nurture. "But the bond," I whisper, my voice trembling. "You feel it. I know you do." "I feel an inconvenience," he snarls, the sound a true predator's growl. His inner beast is close to the surface, but it is not reaching for mine. It is enraged by my lack. I feel a biological imperative I cannot ignore, tied to a female who cannot possibly stand beside me. My queen must be strong. She must have a wolf. She must be able to bear true alpha heirs. You are a shell, a vessel. The word hangs in the air between us. Vessel, not a mate, not a queen, a container. The golden cord of our bond, once so warm and bright, turns to ice, sending a shard of pure agony through my heart. I gasp, clutching my chest as the pain radiates through every nerve. It is a physical torment, a reflection of the utter devastation of my soul. He sees my reaction, but his face remains unmoved. "You will serve a purpose," he continues, his voice devoid of all emotion. "You will be my consort, in title only. You will live where I send you, and when the time is right, you will bear my heir. My true queen, a suitable alpha female from a strong bloodline, will raise the child as her own. You will be nothing more than the means to an end." The room spins. The beautiful tapestry on the wall blurs into a meaningless smear of color. He is not just rejecting me. He is vivisecting my spirit, laying out my purpose with the cold precision of a butcher. He is using the bond, the most sacred connection two of our kind can share, as a tool for his dynastic ambitions. He is making me a surrogate for my own mate. No, I choke out, the word raw and broken. His silver eyes flash with anger. You have no choice. I have bought you. You are mine. Your body, your womb, it all belongs to the crown. He turns to leave, his powerful shoulders rigid. You will be taken to the Blighted Peaks. It is a remote outpost on the northern border. You will remain there until I summon you. Do not attempt to contact me. Do not cause trouble. Consider it a gilded exile. He opens the door, and for a moment I feel a desperate surge from the bond, his own primal instinct warring with his cold logic. Mate, do not leave. I feel his wolf clawing at the inside of his skull, howling in protest. But he masters it. He slams the door shut, leaving me in a silence that is louder than any scream. The pain in my chest intensifies, a crushing weight that makes it impossible to breathe. I sink to the floor, the plush carpet doing nothing to soften the impact. The cold that started in my heart spreads, seeping into my bones, turning my blood to slush. He had found me, only to discard me. He had ignited a star in my soul, only to extinguish it with his bare hands. The Blighted Peaks. It is a place of exile, a frozen wasteland where the pack sends its criminals and it's forgotten. He is not just rejecting me as his mate, he is erasing me from his world. Section. I collapse onto the floor, a guttural sob tearing from my throat. The agony of a rejected bond is a legendary torment, said to drive wolves mad or kill them outright. For one who is wolfless, I wonder if it will simply unmake me. The scent of pine and winter, once a promise of salvation, is now the scent of my own personal hell. It clings to me, a phantom reminder of the mate who has deemed me less than nothing. There, on the cold floor of a room that should have been our beginning, I feel my world end. The journey to the Blighted Peaks is a blur of misery. I am transported in a windowless carriage, the rocking motion, a counterpoint to the violent tremors that rack my body. The rejection has settled deep inside me, a core of perpetual winter. It is a constant, gnawing ache in my chest, a physical manifestation of my broken heart. Sometimes it sharpens into a blade of pure agony, making me cry out. The two guards assigned to transport me look on with a mixture of pity and contempt. They can smell the rejection on me, the scent of a soured bond. It marks me as faulty, undesirable. We travel for weeks, moving ever northward. The air grows colder, the sounds of the world outside more muted. When the carriage door finally opens, the cold is a physical shock. It bites at my exposed skin, and the air is so thin it hurts to breathe. I stand on a barren, windswept plateau. Jagged black peaks claw at a perpetually gray sky. There is no green here, only rock, ice, and a few skeletal, leafless trees. This is the Blighted Peaks, the edge of the world. A small, fortified outpost is carved into the mountainside, a collection of stone buildings huddled together for warmth and protection against whatever lurks in the frozen dark. My new home is a single, small stone room. It contains a narrow cot, a rough spun blanket, a small table, and a chair. A single, high window, barred like a prison cell, looks out onto the desolate landscape. This is my gilded exile. There is no gold, only gray stone and the iron bars of my loneliness. The king's guards deposit my single bag of belongings and leave without a word. The heavy wooden door closes with a final, booming thud, sealing me in. For days, I do not leave the room. The pain of the bond is a relentless tide, pulling me under. I cannot eat. I cannot sleep. I lie on the cot, curled into a tight ball, shivering despite the blanket. The scent of pine and winter is burned into my memory, a ghost that haunts my every breath. It is a cruel irony that the bond, meant to connect us, now only serves as a conduit for my suffering. I can feel him, a distant point of light in the vast darkness, and I know he feels nothing for me but disdain. Useless, vessel, shell. His words are a litany of my own self-hatred. My body begins to waste away. The meager curves I once had disappear, leaving sharp angles of bone. My skin is pallid, my eyes sunken and dull. I am fading, a ghost haunting the edges of a life I was never allowed to live. One evening, as a sliver of watery moonlight filters through the high window, a profound despair settles over me. It would be so easy to just let go, to stop fighting, to let the cold and the pain consume me. It would be an end to the agony. As I lie there, courting the idea of oblivion, something stirs within me. It is not the bond. It is something else, something deeper. A flicker of warmth in the icy void where my wolf should be. It is faint, like a single ember glowing in a field of ash. It is a spark of defiance. No, the thought is not entirely my own. It is primal, stubborn, and fiercely protective. Survive. I do not know where it comes from, this whisper of strength in the hollow chambers of my soul. But I cling to it. I will not let him break me. I will not let his rejection be the end of my story. He may have exiled me, but he does not own my will to live. Slowly, painstakingly, I push myself up. My limbs are weak. My head spins, but I get to my feet. I stumble to the small basin of icy water in the corner and splash my face. The shock of the cold is clarifying. In the small cracked piece of mirror hanging above it, I see a stranger. A gaunt, haunted creature with wild eyes. But in those eyes, for the first time in a long time, there is a flicker of fire. He called me a shell. He thought me empty. But what if he was wrong? What if the space where my wolf was supposed to be was not empty, but simply waiting? Holding something else entirely? I do not know what it is, this nascent power stirring in my core. But I know one thing with absolute certainty. I will survive. And one day, I will make the Alpha King regret the day he ever called me nothing. That vow becomes my new anchor. The pain is still there, a constant companion. But now it is fuel. It is the whetstone upon which I will sharpen my new self. 3 years later, the woman who huddles for warmth in the blighted peaks is a stranger to the girl who collapsed at the mating auction. The cold that once threatened to kill me has become my ally. It has stripped away every ounce of softness, leaving behind something hard and resilient, like the black rock of the mountains themselves. My body is no longer frail. It is lean and corded with muscle, honed by years of hard labor and the relentless struggle for survival at the edge of the world. I learned to hunt with a bow, my arrows flying true in the biting wind. I learned to track, to read the snow and the stone. I learned to fight with the daggers I fashioned from sharpened slate, my movements quick and deadly. The outpost is a community of forgotten souls, exiles, criminals, and others who, like me, did not fit into the rigid hierarchy of the packs. Here, your bloodline does not matter. Your past does not matter. Only your ability to contribute, to survive the harsh winters, and the things that creep in from the shadowed valleys matters. I earned my place not with a name or a beast, but with my hands and my wits. The ache of the broken bond remains, a dull throb in my chest that never truly fades, but it no longer cripples me. It is a part of my anatomy now, like a bone that was shattered and healed crooked, a constant reminder of the man who cast me aside. I rarely think of King Kalen now, pushing his memory into a locked vault in my mind. He is a ghost from another life. My inner world has changed as well. The faint ember of power I felt on that first night has grown, nurtured by my will to live. It is a quiet, cool presence within me, a pool of liquid moonlight in the space where a snarling wolf should be. It has no voice, no primal rage, but it has a sentience. It hums with a silent energy, and sometimes, when I am alone under the vast, star-dusted sky, I can draw upon it. It sharpens my senses, allows me to move with preternatural silence, and cloaks me from the eyes of predators, both animal and otherwise. I do not understand it, this strange, lunar magic, but it is mine. It is the secret that keeps me alive. I call it the lunar echo. One night, the shrieks echo from the lower ravine. They are not the cries of any known animal. They are ragged, torn sounds of pure terror, followed by an unholy chittering that scrapes at the nerves. The outcasts in the common hall fall silent, their eyes wide with fear. Shadow weavers, an old trapper named Borin rasps, his knuckles white around his mug. Haven't seen them this far south in a generation. Shadow weavers, creatures of nightmare, said to be woven from darkness and hunger. They hunt not just for flesh, but for the life force of their victims, leaving behind nothing but desiccated husks. They are drawn to fear and despair, and our outpost is a banquet for them. Panic begins to bubble in the hall. We have no alpha, no organized defense. We are a collection of individuals, ill-equipped to face a pack of supernatural predators. "Bar the gates," someone shouts. "They'll pass us by if we hide." "They will not," I say, my voice cutting through the rising hysteria. I step into the center of the room, my hand resting on the hilt of my slate daggers. They can smell our fear. Hiding will only make us easier prey. We fight, or we die. They stare at me. Ilara the Wolfless. Ilara the king's discarded toy. But they also see Ilara the huntress, the survivor. They see the cold certainty in my eyes. The old trapper, Borin, gives a slow nod. The girl is right. Hiding is a death sentence. A sense of purpose, cold and clear, settles over me. This is my home now. These people, these forgotten souls, are my pack. I will not let them be slaughtered. As we prepare our meager defenses, I feel the lunar echo within me thrumming, vibrating with a strange anticipation. The chittering of the shadow weavers grows closer, a symphony of encroaching death. They pour over the ridge, a tide of animated darkness, their forms shifting and indistinct, their many red eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. Fear lances through our ranks, a scent so potent it is almost visible. But as the first creature lunges for me, I do not flinch. I let the cool energy of the echo flood my senses. The world slows. The chaotic movements of the weaver become clear, its trajectory predictable. I sidestep its attack, my daggers a blur. I do not aim for its shifting torso, but for the cluster of red eyes. My slate blades, imbued with the faint, silvery light of my power, sink into the creature. It emits a piercing shriek as it dissolves, not into gore, but into smoke and dying embers. A stunned silence falls over the defenders. They saw it. They saw the flash of light, the impossible way the creature simply ceased to exist. Hope, a fragile but fierce thing, ignites on their faces. Follow her lead, Boren roars. Aim for the eyes. I become the heart of the battle. The lunar echo guides me, an instinct more refined and precise than any wolf's. I am a whirlwind of silver light and dark slate, a dancer in a macabre ballet of death. I feel no rage, no bloodlust, only a cold, focused calm. For every weaver I dispatch, the echo inside me seems to grow stronger, brighter, as if feeding on the vanquished darkness. We fight through the long, frozen night. By the time the gray dawn breaks, the last of the shadow weavers has been reduced to ash, and the snow is littered with their fading remains. I stand leaning on my daggers, exhausted but alive. The surviving outcasts gather around me, their expressions a mixture of awe and reverence. I am no longer just Ilara the huntress. I am their protector, their leader. In the heart of my gilded exile, surrounded by the broken and the forgotten, I have found my own power. I have forged my own pack. I am wolfless, yes, but I am not weak. I am not a shell, and I need no king. My name is Kalen, and I am a king paying for a fool's pride. It has been 3 years since I sent her away. 3 years since I looked into the eyes of my fated mate and told her she was nothing more than a vessel. My wolf has not let me forget it for a single moment. He is a rabid beast trapped within my skull, a constant source of torment. Coward! He snarls in the dead of night, when sleep refuses to claim me. You broke us. You threw away our other half. For what? Pride? Duty? The ache in my chest is a constant companion, a hollow space that nothing can fill. The bond, though I tried to sever it with my cruelty, remains. It is a taut, frayed wire, transmitting an endless, low-frequency signal of pain. Her pain. For the first year, it was a sharp, shrieking agony that mirrored my wolf's rage. It nearly drove me mad. Now, it has subsided into a dull, persistent throb, a sorrow so deep it has become a part of my own emotional landscape. I feel her sorrow as if it is my own, because it is. I caused it. My kingdom feels it too. The land itself seems to have soured. The harvests are less bountiful, the winters harsher. The pack alphas under my rule are restless, sensing a weakness in their king. They whisper in the halls. He has no queen, no heir. The bond with his fated mate was a failure. They do not know the truth, that I am the failure, not the bond. I have tried to find another. I have attended countless gatherings, met with the most powerful and beautiful alpha females from the strongest bloodlines. But it is useless. To my senses, they all smell like ashes and dust. My wolf recoils from them, snarling his disgust. Not mate. Never. There is only one scent my beast will ever recognize, the faint, clean fragrance of chamomile in rain that haunts my dreams. My counsel pressures me daily. You must secure the succession, Your Majesty. My chief advisor, Lord Valerius, insists. A political alliance, a marriage of convenience. The kingdom needs stability. I am aware of my duty. I growl, the sound more beast than man. My temper is a short fuse these days. My wolf's rage is always simmering just beneath my skin, eager to be unleashed. I look at my reflection and see the toll my pride has taken. There are shadows under my eyes that never fade. My face is harder, colder. The power is still there, but it is brittle, lacking the vital core that a completed mate bond provides. I am an alpha king, ruling on borrowed time, a hollow crown on a hollow man. And now, a new threat gnaws at the edges of my kingdom. Reports from the northern territories speak of attacks, entire patrols vanishing, villages found silent, their inhabitants turned to dust. The descriptions are chillingly familiar, pulled from the darkest legends of our people. Shadow weavers. They are an ancient evil and they are growing bolder. They seem to be drawn toward the blighted peaks of all places. My scouts report a strange concentration of activity in that desolate region. They also bring back another more confusing report. The outpost at the peaks, long considered a dumping ground for societal refuse, has not fallen. In fact, it has repelled multiple attacks. The terrified survivors of a nearby patrol spoke of a lone warrior, a woman who moved like a ghost and wielded blades that shone with silver light, turning the creatures to smoke. They called her the lunar queen of the outcasts. A cold dread, mingled with a sliver of something I dare not name, washes over me. A woman, a lone warrior, in the blighted peaks. It cannot be. And yet, the bond in my chest gives a sudden violent lurch, the first strong feeling it has transmitted in years. It is not pain. It is a jolt of raw power, fierce and protective. Her. My wolf howls the word in my mind. Mate, in danger. I dismiss the reports as battlefield hysteria. But the bond does not lie. Something has changed in her. Something has awakened. The wolfless girl I exiled has become a warrior capable of fighting shadow weavers. The shell I discarded is not empty. The realization hits me with the force of a physical blow. I was wrong. So profoundly, catastrophically wrong. My arrogance, my blind adherence to tradition, and the expectations of my station made me throw away the most precious gift the fates could offer. I did not just reject my mate. I may have rejected the very salvation of my kingdom. The shadow weavers are drawn to power. If they are swarming the blighted peaks, they are not drawn to the location. They are drawn to her. I must go. I must see for myself. And I must face the woman I broke. The thought fills me with a terror far greater than any shadow weaver could inspire. Back in the blighted peaks, a fragile peace has settled. We have fortified the outpost, and my leadership is no longer questioned. The outcasts look to me, and I find a quiet satisfaction in protecting them. I have also found a gentle solace in the company of Liam. He is one of the outpost's healers, a kind man with warm brown eyes and a scent of cedar and herbs that is calming to my frayed nerves. He was one of the first to treat me as a person, not as a royal cast-off. He tended to my wounds after the first Weaver attack, his touch gentle, his concern genuine. "You are remarkable, Ilara," he said, stitching a cut on my arm. "I have never seen anything like the way you fight. That light, it is a miracle." Unlike others, he is not afraid of my power. He is fascinated by it. He asks me about the lunar echo, and I find myself telling him things I have told no one. I speak of the quiet, cool presence inside me, the way it feels like moonlight given form. He listens, his gaze full of warmth and admiration. He represents a life I could have. A simple, peaceful life with a good man who sees me, all of me, and values what he sees. There is no searing, soul-shattering bond between us, but there is a growing affection, a comfortable companionship that soothes the jagged edges of my heart. It is a safe harbor after a lifetime in a storm. One afternoon, the lookout's horn blares, a sharp, urgent cry of alarm, not the signal for a weaver attack, but for approaching riders. Borin squints from the watchtower. It's the king's banner. He yells down, his voice tight with disbelief and suspicion. The Alpha King himself is here. Ice floods my veins. Kalen, here, after 3 years of silence, he has come to my place of exile. The dull ache of the bond in my chest explodes into a raging inferno, a vortex of pain, anger, and a terrifying, treacherous flicker of connection. The lunar echo inside me recoils, flaring with defensive energy. Liam finds me, his hand settling on my arm. Alara, what is it? He can smell it, the sudden, overwhelming scent of my distress. He's here, I say, my voice a stranger to my own ears, flat and brittle. I stand on the ramparts as he and his royal guard ride up to the gates. He looks older. The arrogant certainty in his posture has been replaced by a heavy weariness. But he is still the king. His power a tangible aura that presses in on me even from a distance. He dismounts, and his silver eyes scan the walls until they find me. The moment our gazes lock, the world narrows to the space between us. The bond screams. It is a physical thing, a hurricane of sensation ripping through me. I feel his shock, his regret, his dawning awe, and he feels my rage, my pain, and the ice-cold wall I have built around my heart. The scent of pine and winter, sharper and more desperate than I remember, washes over me. My wolf, or the space where it should be, howls in fury. Traitor. He comes now. After all this time, I give the order. Open the gates. I will not hide from him. I am not the broken girl he sent away. I am the protector of this outpost. I am the one they call the Lunar Queen. He will face me on my ground, by my rules. He walks into the courtyard, his guard remaining outside. The outcasts, my people, form a silent, hostile wall around him. They may be forgotten by his kingdom, but they are loyal to me. He stops a dozen paces from me. He looks at me, truly looks at me, and I see the full weight of his mistake crash down upon him. He is not seeing the wolfless Omega from the auction block. He is seeing a warrior, her face scarred, her eyes cold as the northern ice, her power a shimmering, palpable aura. Ilara, he breathes, his voice rough with emotion. King Kalen, I reply, my tone clipped and formal, offering no quarter. You are a long way from your throne. This is a place for the forgotten. Have you finally forgotten your own name? The barb hits its mark. I see him flinch. The scent of his pain, a bitter undertone to the pine, is a grim satisfaction. I came because of the Shadow Weavers, he says, his gaze searching mine, desperate for a crack in my frozen facade. I heard reports of a warrior. The reports are true, I say, my voice like chipping ice. We protect our own here. We have no king to do it for us. I see that, he says softly. Alara, I was wrong. The words, the very words I once would have died to hear, mean nothing now. They are 3 years too late. You were more than wrong, I say, stepping closer, my voice dropping to a low, dangerous pitch. You were cruel, and your cruelty forged me into this. I let a sliver of the lunar echo's power flare, my eyes glowing with a faint, silvery light. I am what you made me, your majesty, a weapon forged in the fires of your rejection. So tell me, why are you really here? Has your vessel finally become useful to you? His face pales, the blood draining from beneath his skin. He looks like I have physically struck him. The raw, undiluted agony that pours from him through the bond is staggering. It is the scent of self-loathing, of a soul tearing itself apart. For a horrifying moment, I almost feel pity for him. I crush it without mercy. He does not deserve my pity. He does not deserve anything from me. The shadow weavers are drawn to you, he says, his voice strained. To your power, whatever it is, it's a beacon. They are massing, preparing for an attack on a scale we have not seen in centuries. They will not stop until they have you. I came to help. I give a short, mirthless laugh. To help? Or to claim the weapon you inadvertently created? You need me now. That is the only reason you are here. Your kingdom is threatened, and the wolfless nobody you threw away holds the key. How deliciously ironic. It is not about the kingdom, he says, his voice dropping to a desperate growl. Not anymore. It is about you. I will not let them harm you. Protect ours. The ancient possessive instinct flares in him, a primal command I can feel through the bond as clearly as if he shouted it. It is the voice of his wolf, the beast he ignored 3 years ago, now roaring to the surface. But I am no longer swayed by primal instinct. I have learned to live by my own will. You lost the right to protect me when you sent me here to die, I state, my voice unwavering. If you wish to fight the weavers, you will do so under my command. Here, in this outpost, your crown means nothing. You are a soldier, nothing more. Those are my terms. I offer him an impossible choice. Submit his legendary alpha pride to the authority of the woman he humiliated, or abandon his kingdom to its fate. I watch him, his jaw clenched, his entire being locked in a war with itself. The Alpha King, brought to his knees, not by an enemy army, but by the consequences of his own actions. This is a satisfaction far deeper than any revenge I could have dreamed of. I hold his gaze, my own cold and unyielding, and wait for the great king to break. The silence in the courtyard stretches, thick with tension. Every eye is on Kalen. His guards, just outside the gate, shift uneasily, their alpha scent spiking with alarm at the insult I have delivered to their king. But Kalen does not move. He is a statue carved from granite and regret. The war inside him is plain to see. His pride, the ingrained authority of an alpha king, bristles at my ultimatum. But his wolf and the desperate, aching need of the mate bond urges him to yield. I can feel the conflict as a chaotic storm through our connection. Finally, he gives a slow, deliberate nod. His silver eyes are filled with a pain so profound it is almost beautiful. As you command, he says, his voice low and hoarse. He has chosen. He has submitted. A collective gasp ripples through the outcasts. They have just witnessed the impossible, the alpha of all alphas bowing his will to a wolfless exile. The power dynamic has not just been inverted, it has been shattered. From this moment on, he is not the king who discarded me. He is a soldier in my command, a guest in my home, and we both know it. The days that follow are a study in forced proximity and exquisite tension. Kalen and his royal guard are given sparse quarters, no better than any other fighter. He accepts this without complaint. He takes his meals in the common hall, enduring the hostile stares and whispered insults of my people. He performs the tasks I assign him, from reinforcing the perimeter walls to standing watch on the coldest nights with a grim determination. He is trying to show me, through action, that he is no longer the arrogant king he once was. But trust is not so easily rebuilt. I keep him at a distance, my interactions with him clipped and professional. I refuse to be alone with him, always ensuring Liam or Boren is nearby. The presence of Liam is a particularly sharp thorn in Kalen's side. He watches the easy way I speak with the healer, the gentle way Liam will place a hand on my arm. The scent of Kalen's jealousy is a suffocating, possessive smog of burnt pine. It is a bitter, satisfying taste on my tongue. Let him suffer. Let him see what he threw away. Liam, for his part, is wary but steadfast. Be careful, Ilara, he warns me one evening as we clean arrows by the fire. A cornered wolf is a dangerous thing. A cornered king, even more so. I am not the one who is cornered, I assure him, though my heart is not as steady as my voice. Being near Kalen is a constant torment. The bond, reawakened and raw, is a live wire between us. I feel his every spike of emotion, his regret when he looks at me, his rage when another man is near me, his bone-deep weariness, and the overwhelming, desperate longing that is a constant hum beneath it all. It takes every ounce of my will to keep my walls intact, to not let the intensity of his suffering sway me. The Shadow Weavers test our defenses nightly, their attacks growing more coordinated, more intelligent. It is clear they are being led. Kalen is a brutally effective warrior, his alpha strength and centuries of battle instinct making him a whirlwind of destruction. We fight side by side, our movements often falling into an unnerving, unspoken synchronicity. The bond, designed for this very purpose, allows us to anticipate each other's actions, to move as one. It is a terrifyingly intimate dance of violence, and it leaves me feeling raw and exposed every time. One night, after a particularly vicious assault, he finds me alone on the ramparts, staring out at the darkness. The guards I had posted have mysteriously found duties elsewhere. He planned this. They are adapting, he says, his voice quiet, coming to stand a few feet away. The space between us crackles with unspoken history. They are testing us, looking for a weakness in our defenses. We have no weaknesses, I say, my voice hard. Don't we? He counters softly. He turns to face me, his silver eyes luminous in the faint moonlight. The weariness on his face is stark. Alara, we need to talk, not as commander and soldier, as what we are. And what is that, Kalen? I snap, turning on him. A king and his discarded property? A man and the vessel he plans to use? You defined our relationship quite clearly 3 years ago. The pain that flashes across his face is so sharp, so genuine, it steals my breath. I was a fool, he says, his voice cracking. A proud, arrogant fool who was terrified. I stare at him. Terrified? You are the Alpha King. You fear nothing. I feared you, he confesses, and the admission hangs in the cold air. I feared what you represented. The fates gave me a mate who was wolfless. My entire life, I was taught that our strength, our very right to rule, comes from the power of our beasts. My father, his father before him, they all preached the purity of the bloodline. A wolfless queen was not just an inconvenience. It was a sign of weakness, an omen of the end of my line. The council would have called for my abdication. Rival alphas would have challenged my rule. I saw my kingdom crumbling, all because of a bond I could not deny. He takes a hesitant step closer. The scent of his raw honesty is overwhelming, cutting through my anger. So I made a choice. The logical choice. The king's choice. I chose my duty over my heart. I chose my crown over my mate. And in doing so, I betrayed myself, my wolf, and you. It was the single greatest mistake of my life, and I have paid for it every single day for 3 years. His confession is not an excuse. It is a raw, brutal accounting of his failure. He is not asking for forgiveness. He is simply laying the truth at my feet. The truth of his weakness, his fear, his pride. He is showing me the flawed man behind the crown. My wolf, my echo, whatever it is, stills within me. It recognizes the truth in his words, the profound agony of his remorse. Your payment does not erase my pain, I whisper, my voice trembling for the first time. I know, he says, his own voice thick with unshed tears. I know, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to earn your forgiveness, even if I never receive it. But Alara, I need you to know the truth of why, not to excuse it, but so you know it was my failure, my weakness that caused this. It was never, ever because you were not worthy. Before I can process, before I can find the words to respond, Liam appears at the end of the rampart. He stops, taking in the scene, the charged intimacy of our confrontation. His face, usually so open and kind, closes off. He sees the truth in the way Kaelin looks at me, in the way I'm unable to look away. He sees the tangled, agonizing, unbreakable cord that binds us together. Later that night, Liam finds me by the armory. He loves you, he says, his voice flat. It is not a question. I cannot bring myself to answer. I see it, he continues, a deep sadness in his eyes. And you are still tied to him. I hoped that what we had could be enough, that a gentle love could heal what a violent one broke. He shakes his head, a bitter smile touching his lips. But I cannot compete with fate, can I? No matter how cruel it has been. Liam, I start, my heart aching for him, for the gentle peace he offered. It's all right, Alara, he says, reaching out to cup my cheek, his touch as warm and kind as ever. You deserve a love that sets your soul on fire. You deserve the other half of your own soul. I just wish for your sake it wasn't him. He lets his hand drop. But I will not be a placeholder. I will not be the safe harbor you hide in while your heart is still lost at sea. You must face him. You must make your choice. But know this, he adds, his gaze firm, I will always consider you my friend and my queen. He turns and walks away, leaving me alone in the cold. He has exited my life as gracefully as he entered it, with a dignity and kindness that Kaelin, in all his power, never possessed. He has left me with an impossible decision, stripping away my last refuge. Now, there is nowhere left to hide. There is only me, the king who broke me, and the all-consuming darkness that is coming for us all. The choice is no longer if I will face Kaelin, but how. Liam's departure leaves a void, not of passion, but of peace. His absence removes the buffer between me and Kaelin, forcing us into a stark, uncomfortable alliance. The Shadow Weavers sense the shift. Their attacks become relentless, a suffocating siege. They are no longer testing us. They are trying to wear us down, to exhaust us until we break. We fight day and night, the line between soldiers blurring. Kaelin's royal guard and my outcasts, once enemies, now stand shoulder to shoulder, their survival dependent on one another. At the center of it all are Kaelin and me. The battlefield has become our only common ground, the clash of steel, our only conversation. In the heat of battle, the bond is a powerful asset, a silent communication that saves our lives again and again. But in the quiet moments between, it is a torment. It broadcasts his desperate hope and my conflicted anger in a constant, exhausting loop. We capture one of the weavers, a lesser one, trapping it in a circle of salt and silver. It is a writhing mass of shadows, its chittering a sound of pure malevolence. We need to know who or what is leading them. Kalen tries to interrogate it with his alpha command, a force that can break the will of almost any creature. The Weaver only writhes and shrieks, its hatred a tangible force. It is not a creature of will, I realize, watching it struggle. It is a creature of hunger. It does not think. It only desires. I step into the circle, ignoring Kalen's warning growl. I place my hand on the creature's shifting, smoky head. Instead of attacking it, I let the lunar echo flow from me, not as a weapon, but as a probe. I do not try to command it. I try to understand its hunger. Images flood my mind, not my own. I see a throne of black, twisted rock located deep beneath the mountains. I see a figure seated upon it, a being that looks like a desiccated, ancient shifter. His body starved and withered, but his eyes burning with a ravenous violet light. He is unbonded, a wolf whose fated mate died before their bond could be completed, a tragedy that has driven him mad with centuries of grief and rage. He is the source, the one who is weaving the shadows, sending them to feed his insatiable emptiness. And he is hungry for me. He feels the lunar echo, a power he believes can fill the void inside him, make him whole and all-powerful. He wants to consume me, to devour my light. I pull back with a gasp, stumbling out of the circle. The Weaver dissolves into dust, its purpose served. There is a king, I say, my voice trembling, an ancient, unbonded one. He is beneath the mountains. He is the one creating them. He's coming for me, for the echo. Kalen's face is grim. The legends call him Morwen, the Hunger King. We thought he was just a myth, a story to frighten pups. An alpha, so consumed by the grief of a lost mate that he turned to shadow magic to sustain himself, feeding on the life force of others. He is no myth, I confirm, and he is planning one final assault. He will lead them himself. The air grows heavy with dread. We are not just fighting mindless monsters. We are fighting a king, a dark reflection of Kalen himself, twisted by the pain of a broken bond. The final battle is coming. That night, the sky turns a sickening shade of bruised purple, though the sun set hours ago. A great horn, its sound seeming to come from the roots of the mountains, echoes across the plateau. This is it, the final assault. Morwen is coming. My people look to me, their faces pale but resolute. Kalen stands beside me on the rampart, his hand resting on the pommel of his sword. "Elara," he says, his voice low and urgent, cutting through the rising din of the approaching horde. "There is something you must have." He unclasps the sheath of his own sword and holds it out to me. It is a magnificent weapon, its hilt wrapped in black leather, the pommel a silver wolf's head. The blade itself seems to drink the light. "This is Nightfall, the blade of the Alpha Kings," he explains. "It was forged in the heart of a fallen star. It is the only weapon known to be able to permanently kill a being like Morwen." "This is your birthright," I say, hesitant to take it. "You should wield it." "My birthright was to be your mate," he says, his voice thick with emotion. He pushes the sword into my hands. "I forfeited my rights when I sent you away. Your power, the lunar echo, is the light that can guide this blade. My strength alone is not enough. It needs you. I need you." The shadow weavers pour over the ridges, a black tide of screeching horrors, and in their midst, he comes. Morwen is taller than the others, his withered form seated on a throne of living shadow carried by his minions. His burning violet eyes fix on me instantly, a look of ravenous possession. The force of his will is a physical blow, a wave of despair and emptiness that washes over our defenders, making them falter. She is mine, his voice booms, not through the air but directly inside our minds. The little moonbeam will make me whole again. He gestures, and a massive wave of shadow energy surges toward the rampart, aimed directly at me. It is too fast, too powerful. I raise Nightfall, but I know I cannot block it in time. In that split second, Kalen moves. He shoves me aside and plants himself directly in the path of the blast, his back to the energy, his arms spread wide as if to embrace it. He becomes my shield. The shadow energy hits him with a sickening crack. He roars, a sound of pure agony as the dark magic tears into him. The scent of his blood and the acrid smell of burning shadow fills the air. The force of the impact throws him back against the stone wall, and he slumps to the ground, a deep, smoking gash across his back. He is mortally wounded. He has just sacrificed his life for mine. I scramble to his side, my heart seizing in my chest. "Kalen!" I scream, my voice breaking. He coughs, blood flecking his lips. His silver eyes clouded with pain. "Find mine." "He will not have you," he rasps, his breath shallow. "I will not allow it." Tears stream down my face, hot against my frozen skin. In this moment, all the anger, all the bitterness, all the walls I have built crumble to dust. Seeing him broken and dying for me, I finally understand. His words of regret were not just words. This ultimate act of sacrifice is the truth. With a Herculean effort, he pushes himself onto one knee, his body trembling with the strain. He bows his head and exposes the back of his neck, the ultimate gesture of submission for a wolf, baring his throat to me. "My life is yours, Ilara," he whispers, his voice barely audible over the chaos of the battle. "It always has been. If you live, even if you never choose me, it is enough. You are free." This is his grovel, not a desperate plea for forgiveness, but a complete and total surrender. He offers me everything, his power, his life, his kingdom, and asks for nothing in return. He has proven his change, not with words, but with his own blood. The bond between us flares, no longer a source of pain, but a conduit of pure, desperate love. His love for me and the love for him that I have so long denied. My human mind and my inner power, my heart and the lunar echo finally align. The war inside me is over. I know what I must do. I kneel in front of him, my tears dripping onto his pale face. I look into his dying eyes. "No," I say, my voice clear and strong despite the tears. "You don't get to die. Not now." I lean forward and press my lips to his, a desperate, claiming kiss. "I choose you, Kalen. I choose us." As I make my choice, as I accept him with my whole heart, a blinding light erupts from my chest. The lunar echo, finally joined with the other half of its intended bond, surges into its full power. My hand goes to the terrible wound on his back, and the silver light pours from my palm into his body. The bond, once a frayed wire, becomes a torrent of golden energy flowing from me to him. I feel his alpha power, his life force, meeting mine, twining with it. The acceptance is mutual, a conscious act from both of us. He opens himself to me completely, and I to him. In that moment, the bond is not just repaired, it is completed, forged anew in sacrifice and forgiveness. A wave of power, vaster than anything I have ever felt, pulses out from us. Kalen's wound knits itself closed, the shadow magic burned away by the pure light of the echo. His strength returns, tenfold, amplified by the completed bond. The scent of pine and winter, once soured by pain, is now rich and whole, laced with the clean, bright scent of my own moonlight magic. He rises to his feet, no longer a wounded soldier, but a king reborn. He looks at me, his silver eyes blazing with love and newfound power. "My queen," he breathes, his voice full of reverence. "My king," I reply, my hand finding his. I hold nightfall aloft, its starry metal now glowing with the same silver light that flows through my veins. We turn as one to face our enemy. Morwen shrieks in fury and terror from his throne. "No! The light is mine!" He can feel our power, the perfect, harmonious energy of a completed, fated bond. It is the one thing his darkness cannot overcome, the one thing he can never have. His very existence is anathema to it. "Let's finish this," Kalen growls, his voice a perfect duet with the possessive rumble of his wolf. "Ours, protect ours." We move together, a blur of silver and shadow. His raw, physical power clears a path through the weaver horde, his claws and teeth tearing through them like paper. I am the spear tip, the focal point of our combined might. The lunar echo sings within me, a song of righteous power. I leap from the rampart, landing silently in the heart of the enemy army. They recoil from my light, hissing and dissolving where it touches them. Kalen is right behind me, a dark, protective storm at my back. We are two halves of a single, perfect weapon. He is the night. I am the moon. He is the fury. I am the focus. Together, we are unstoppable. We carve a path directly to Morwen's throne. The ancient Alpha rises, his withered form crackling with desperate, unstable shadow energy. "I will devour you both," he snarls, lunging at me. Kalen intercepts him, his body a wall of pure alpha muscle. They crash together, a collision of light and dark, of a bond fulfilled and a bond destroyed. As they grapple, I see my opening. I channel all my power, all the love and pain and forgiveness of our journey into the blade of nightfall. The sword blazes with a light so bright it eclipses the moon. "For the mates you destroyed," I cry, and I drive the blade through Morwen's black heart. For a moment, there is only silence. Then, a deafening scream of pure despair rips from the Hunger King's throat. The violet light in his eyes extinguishes, replaced by a profound, ancient sorrow. The shadows making up his body unravel, and his withered form crumbles to dust, swept away by the wind. With their master gone, the entire Shadow Weaver horde dissolves, their chittering cries fading into an eerie silence. The unnatural purple haze in the sky clears, revealing the clean, cold stars above. The battle is over. Exhaustion hits me, and I sway on my feet. Kalen is there in an instant, his strong arms wrapping around me, holding me up. I lean against his solid warmth, breathing in the victorious scent of pine and winter and home. "It's over," I whisper. "A new beginning," he corrects me, his voice soft against my hair. He pulls back, his hands framing my face, his silver eyes searching mine. "Are you all right?" "I am whole," I say, and it is the truest thing I have ever said. The ache in my chest is gone, replaced by a steady, radiant warmth that connects me to him. The scars are there, on my body and on my soul, but they no longer hurt. They are just a part of our story. We return to the capital, not as a conquering king and his prize, but as equals. The story of my exile and Kalen's grovel, of the lunar queen who saved the outcasts, and the king who sacrificed himself for her spreads like wildfire. There are no challenges to my place at his side. My power is undeniable, and his devotion to me is absolute. I am not just his consort. I am his co-ruler, the Lunar Queen and the Alpha King. Our new dynamic is one of balance. His strength is tempered by my calm. My power is grounded by his pragmatism. He listens to my counsel, and I to his. He tore down his pride to earn my forgiveness, and in doing so, he became a king worthy of his crown. I learned to build my own throne out of rock and ice, and in doing so, I became a queen worthy of her power. We do not try to erase the past. The pain we caused each other is a foundation upon which we have built something stronger than either of us could have been alone. Months later, I stand with Kaelin on the high balcony of the royal palace, overlooking our peaceful kingdom. The moon is full, and its light seems to resonate with the echo inside me. Kaelin's arm is wrapped securely around my waist, his presence a constant, reassuring warmth. The bond between us is a quiet, steady river of contentment and deep, abiding love. Do you ever regret it? I ask softly, tracing the faint scar that remains on his back from Morwen's attack. It is a reminder I insisted on keeping, a testament to his sacrifice. He turns me in his arms, his silver eyes soft in the moonlight. He knows what I am asking. Do you regret the pain, the suffering, the years we lost? I regret every moment of your pain, he says, his voice thick with sincerity. I regret the fool I was, but I cannot regret the journey that led us here. The man I was could never have been worthy of the queen you are. He brushes a stray strand of hair from my face, his touch gentle. Our bond was not just fated. It was earned, forged in fire and ice. And I would walk through it all again, 1,000 times, just to stand here with you now. I look out at the world we saved together, at the future stretching before us. The girl who collapsed at the mating auction is a ghost. In her place stands a queen, a mate, a warrior. I am scarred, yes. We both are, but we are not broken. We are whole. We are home. I lean my head against his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart, a rhythm that matches my own. The scent of pine and winter, mingled with my own chamomile and rain, is the scent of our forever. An ending that was worth the devastating journey to find it.